Doe to doe. We'll wait till a few of you get in here. I know this is kind of impromptu on a Sunday. See if anybody shows up. What's going on, Sean? Booyah, 13. What's going on, guys? Listen, I didn't get to put a video out today. What's going on, Doug? What's going on, Southern Georgia? So, I just figured I'd jump in, do a little impromptu live stream. What's up, James, Terry, KC, Preston, Noel, Atomic, upstate New York. I'd like to go to upstate New York. It's probably better fishing than what there is down here. What's going on, Miss Casey? So anyway, just Q&A, man. This is just completely off script. What's going on, Thomas? Georgetown, Kentucky. What's going on, Joey? I'm going to talk to you today. Didn't get to put a video out today, so I figured I'd just jump in and do a little live stream, say hey to everybody, see what's going on. Come up here into my yet-to-be-complete new house, which I wish would get done, but that's a whole different story. But I would love to do a deep-sea trip. What's up, Alfonso? What's up, Sean? Central Illinois. Yeah, I kind of like it. Yeah, that's why it's so clean, because there ain't nothing in here. We ain't even got power yet. So, What's going on, Skunk Master? Yeah, well, not in it yet, but, we're getting there. Slowly but surely, a lot of work to be done. A lot of work to be done. The inside's about done. There's still just a lot of stuff to do outside. So, what have you guys been doing? What's up, North Fork? Fish in Ohio. Are there fish in Ohio, North Fork? I've heard tales that there wasn't many. Man, I love a white kitchen, man. I like bright. I like sun, though, lots of windows. Either that or I come to you. Well, trust me, they ain't a lot of fish biting down this way. Of course, I don't know. They might be. I'm going to go fishing. I'm hoping I'm going to go Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I may go fish 3 different lakes. So, that's kind of what the whole thing was about. No, I'm in Virginia, but I'm right on the Virginia-Tennessee line. It would be nice to come to Australia. So, I got 4 lakes. It's Bristol, baby. Oh, yeah. Well, and that South Host Norris actually is one of them that I'm thinking about going. Is Douglas turned on right now? So what's the bite like down there? See, I was going to go to, what's going on, Bass Munitions? I was going to probably go to some of these, smallmouth lakes. So like Watauga, South Holston, Norris, Cherokee. Yeah, I'd say it is a little too cold. Hey, as long as the water ain't froze, though, you can go catch some. Oh, Texas, man. It ain't never too cold down there to go fishing. I'm doing good, Jerry. But I don't know. I'm ready to kind of go hit the Damiki rig now, start trying that offshore stuff for the winter, some spoons, some blades. I'm about 5, not 5, I'm about 3 hours, 3 and some change from Dale. But I don't want to go real far right now. So what do you think, guys? It needs to be a little colder for Norris. Yeah, I ain't been on Norris in forever, man. I'd really like to go over there. I know some good Damiki spots. I'd like to go over there and hit it. They're good early. In the snow, yeah. I got some stuff I got to get done. If y'all keep up with me on Instagram, if you don't, it's Bass Geek Fishing on Instagram, Bass Geek Fishing on Twitter, Bass Geek Fishing on YouTube, or not YouTube, it's just Bass Geek on YouTube. It's Bass Geek Fishing on Facebook. If you keep up with me on Instagram, you know, I like Norris. You know, I'll be honest with you now, I know a lot more about the clinch side than the pal side. Boone, well, I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of Boone. I never have been a big fan of Boone. Never have been a big fan of Boone. I know there's some good fishing in there. There's world-class striper fishing in there. But, you know, there's world-class striper fishing on Cherokee, too. So, and Norris, if you want to do that. I don't know. Those are the lakes that I was thinking about running to, you know, the next 3 days. You know, if I get on one lake and it's real hot, I mean, I'm probably going to come back to that lake a second time. So, you know, like I said, South Holston, Norris, Cherokee, Watauga. Now, I've only fished Watauga once, ever. So I'm kind of interested in going up there and, you know, starting to beat around a little bit, you know, seeing what I can find up there. Reminds me of a lot of my little top secret Lake P that I like to fish a lot. So, you know, all three of those lakes are a whole lot alike, you know. So, you're in Oak Ridge, yeah. Watauga, Soho, Boone, yeah, around northeast Tennessee. I still count Douglas and Cherokee and Norris. You know, I could be to about all of those in, you know, an hour and 30, really, or less. So, you know, for me, all those are pretty good. Pretty good. They're all Highlands reservoirs. So if you guys ever wonder what fishing Highlands lakes are like, watch my channel, because I fish the crap out of Highlands reservoirs. I don't get to go down and fish, you know, the Tennessee River as much as I'd like. But we're going to be doing, so I'm really going to concentrate this year, if I can get some help from a few companies on getting my boat upgraded. So I'm going to, you know, I thought about buying a new boat and, you know, just taking on the payment of a new boat, man, it just kind of hurts me deep in my cockles, if you know what I'm saying. So I got a boat that I can fish out of. The trailer, I'm scared to death of the trailer, which is why I haven't been doing a lot of traveling like I'd like to. You know, I'm afraid that like all four tires are going to go past me, and then I'm going to see my Johnson motor, you know, zoom by me as I'm doing 80 down the interstate. So I'm looking around for a new trailer right now. So, you know, if you guys want me to kind of share that sort of experience with you, you know I don't do a whole lot of the boat stuff, like, you know, I replace my starter. That's what I've been doing the past couple of days is, you know, some maintenance. Luckily, in that last video, what's up, BA? In that last video, you know, when I was out fishing topwater, yeah, it's a work in progress, but it floats, you know. Like I always say, as long as the bass don't tell me my boat's too ugly, you know, to get on my hook, I guess I'm good to go. But, you know, I do wish that I could get just a little more speed out of that boat, which, you know, eventually what I'll probably do is try to get, you know, try to repower it too. What's going on, Idaho? What is up? And, so if you guys want to kind of see that process, if you want to see the process of me, you know, buying a new trailer for my boat, you know, let me know. If you guys want to see stuff like, you know, like putting that starter on the engine, you know, let me know. I didn't really film that, so, you know, but I mean, that's something that I could literally show you in like 5 minutes. It takes 5 minutes to fix, you know, that sort of stuff. I mean, I don't care to show you that. That stuff's pretty easy. It's pretty simple. But I am gonna do a whole series. Yeah, it chases fish away. Yeah, but I've got I've changed the plugs in it. Actually, I've got some plugs sitting somewhere, since right now I'm living with my parents, waiting for this house to be done. I've got a set of plugs for it right now that I actually need to put in it. Well, it's to the point right now to where I'm going to have to do so much maintenance. The bushings are bad. I haven't had brakes on it, and I don't know how long. I'm probably going to have to put a new actuator in because it's surge brakes. So it's got the trailer hitch, which is like a pump, which pumps the stuff back. So to be honest with you, it's probably going to cost so much to replace the stuff on the trailer. I just be better off, going ahead and buying a new one. It's going to cost me about, I can get a new one for the 20-foot. My boat is a TR20. It's going to be about $4,400, so it's not going to be cheap, but man, I could probably come down to Texas and you show me a thing or 10. Hey, listen, I guarantee there's some great fishing spots in South Africa. I know there's some good bass down there. Well, I'm going to tell you that a whole Damiki bite, man, right now, man, there's so many people doing it. Every time you go out on a pretty day, it's, I'd like to catch a dub, short for, double digit. But anytime you go out, especially if you're talking about like Soho, now, Soho, man, South Holston is a small lake. It's got some huge bass, smallmouth in it. Southern, we're not talking about, you guys are lucky up north to have the footballs that you have. If you haven't seen my Damiki rig and how to, go check that video out. One of the things you'll see in that is actually a 5-pound on the nose. That thing was like 23, 24 inches long. And it's a 5-pounder. It's long. I mean, it is longer, literally. I mean, it hangs, I think the tail hangs that far, off of my arm. And, I'm 6 foot. So, 6 foot and really damn fat. Woo! I like my taters. But, nah, man, I'm going to put in, Holmes Mill, Kentucky. Oh, yeah, man. Right over the hill from Keoki. Top Secret Lake K. That's a good little lake. They got, I don't know if you know this or not, but they've got Florida strain bass in that lake. They're tough to catch. I've never been to Lake Fork now. I have fished Guntersville a few times, yeah. Go in February. Get you a rattle trap out. It's fun. I ain't promising you no giants, but it's a good time. But now I'm gonna try and replace like my instrument consoles, because like I said, it's a '98 Triton, so it's old, man. Now BA knows Chick. He's down in the Knox Vegas area. What's going on, Ranger? Hey, man, if you guys haven't checked out Ranger 374, go check out his YouTube channel. He's a good guy. He's always supporting me all the time. Make sure you go check him out. Yeah, peacock bass do generally get bigger than any of the black bass, which the biggest of the black bass would probably be, is largemouth, Yeah, Patrick Henry, yeah, they've probably not seen, I'd say Patrick Henry's probably seen more than what you think. I got it squared away, so it's good. Had to replace had some trailer light issues today, so luckily I didn't just go and cut off my plug, which I originally thought it was. I traced it to that point, but we'd hooked it up to Dad's truck, and it worked. So I thought, oh God, wiring in the truck. But checked, and thanks Dodge for not labeling not a single one of your fuses in your fuse box. Awesome job. Chesapeake Bay area, that'd be awesome. Yeah, man, chatterbait for me is, it's either going to be a dirty water or or something around grass. Rarely am I going to throw a chatterbait in open water conditions, which is 90% of what you're going to see on South Holston. Yeah. Oh, they're catching real good ones on Top Secret Lake K or Keoki now. On Douglas, yeah, that's probably another reason why I wouldn't want to go down to Douglas right now, because of the Morristown Marines Classic. They probably beat the tar out of them down there. Nice job, Joseph. I would like to come up to Idaho. You don't hear much about bass fishing in Idaho. I'm ready to go striper fishing. I've told you that 100 times. Have I ever fished the Guest River? No, I've never gone up there. Shoo, 7-pounder. Yeah, you can. Yeah, a small fly, that's one of the things that, that's kind of the little secret. A lot of guys are starting to change that up to a small fly. Kind of the same, the floating fly. And a lot of times what you'll find is they're using the same thing, the same type of fly as a floating fly, which is also the same type of fly that you can tight line. In May, yes, May it's outstanding. It'll take 20 plus pounds of smallmouth to win in a tournament in May. Congratulations, Bobby, on your first largemouth. Yeah, I hear you. Yes, you do have lots of them. Listen, I'm all about coming down to Florida, traveling fisherman. That's you know what, I would spend from now until it starts to warm up here in Florida. Family's doing good this weekend. The wife's working tonight. If you don't know what Demiki rig fishing is, go look up my video. It's I don't remember what's labeled. It's Demiki rig fishing 101 or Demiki rig. It's a real in-depth how-to. If you don't know what tight lining is, go look up. I've got a top 5. They're both a little older. I think they're about 2-3 years old. But go look up my top 5 winter baits, and I've got a how-to in there on how to fish a tight line, which is, I kind of call it a poor man's, and it's really not a poor man's. It's not that it's cheaper weight. It kind of is, but it ain't. But, well, I'm in the house right now, and, there's still a lot to be done. There's a lot of stuff outside that needs to get done. No power. We've got the boxes and stuff hanging. We just got the septic plumbed in and the water plumbed in. But right now we can't cut the water on because the house sits up real high, so we have to get the exterior block put in. So, I do want to give you a tour of the house, but I want to wait until it's done. It's right now, I can give you kind of an unfinished open look at it if you want it right now, but, it's kind of dark, but, you worked in the mines in Appalachia, yeah. The poor mines. Yeah, until they shut them down. There's not many of that left. Oh, North Fork. Guys, if you want some good custom painted baits, check out North Fork. North Fork Fishing 12 there. He does some killer paint jobs. He sent me several that this spring will be getting put to use. I can promise you that. Roanoke. Roanoke's a dirty city, ain't it? I don't mean to make anybody mad, but, you know, Roanoke. Now, that's still about, Roanoke's probably 3-4 hours from me. Woo, from Marlin. That's crazy. Well, I will tell you, my boat, I've already kind of sanded it down 2-3 times. That's another thing I can't wait for, is that once I get the house done, I am going to put me a carport outside, so they're going to put my boat in it because that poor thing. So I'm probably going to reach out to a company and actually have that done, because that I'm probably going to have some gel coat work done to it. Well, Mike, man, don't hospitalize yourself from fishing. Good Lord. That's cool. Hey, man, I appreciate that, traveling fisherman. I really do appreciate that. Used to hog gates. Yeah, it is. It's but Richmond's the same way. Richmond's kind of a dirty city. You get into the industrialized South cities, southern cities. Like Virginia. You get down into, like, they're, you can tell they're old industrial cities, really. Yeah, a Damiki rig, I mean, believe it or not, man, you can go out and fish a Damiki rig. I've got videos where I'm actually catching some Damiki fish and the water temperature's been like 68 degrees. Just like they always say, not all fish, follow the shad to the backs of the creeks. If there's shad in that area, they'll stay right there and they'll feed. You don't have to worry about what they are. My best shad type bait, it just depends on what presentation. Like if we're talking about Damiki rig, of course the Damiki, or, my favorite is Bass Munition Stealth Shad, the little 3-point. I mean, the best shad type bait, it's got to be any kind of, or some kind of swim bait. Which again, the Patriot minnow, I like it, the 3.5, because it's got such a shad profile, that fat center mass. Nova Scotia, man, I'd love to come up there. That'd be cool. $12 degrees. Woo. Shoo, I don't know about that. I got some extra insulation, man, but that's pretty dang cold. Let's see. Yeah, they'll work back. Sometimes, and it really depends, if you've got some deeper areas, there'll be some resident fish, still in the creeks or in the first thirds of the creeks. Yeah, Damiki rigging from shore would be real tough. I know I never have. What is that? There, Buddha? What's up, Paul? Yeah, they're coming. They're definitely coming. Like I said, that's right around all the time the house and stuff started. So the next one I'm going to try and do is going to be the DI, and we can actually shoot it this winter because winter, summer, it doesn't really matter. It's all about the same. On a hot day, I mean it's a lot like the winter. I mean, you're going to slow down. My favorite boss of crankbait, I mean, has to be obvious, the DT series. I've not fished the Silent Lipless. I have not fished Sharon Harris. Thanks, Jess and Mike. Jessica and Mike. Sorry, I didn't mean to abbreviate your name, so people don't like that. Jerkbait, best shad presentation. My two favorite jerkbaits, I've got two jerkbait rods, and these are tied on at all times. It is either the Shadow Wrap by Rapala because it's a slow sink, and because I fish Highlands reservoirs, I always fish the deep. So you need to, you may want to fish the shallow, or the Mega Bass 110+1. Those are the two that this time of year that I have tied on. What's going on, Tiger Muskie? Something? Don't know what the end of that is. I'm sorry. What's going on, Sean? Are you planning to fish any more BFLs in the future? Yes. Man, I am dying. Listen, I love tournament fishing. Some guys hate it, some guys love it, but I love it. I want to fish out of my boat, which is one of the reasons why I want to get my boat together. I'll tell everybody, I don't care who you are. I get so tired of hearing the argument of, I've got a boat, I'm just going to jump in, co-angler, co-angler, co-angler. Let me explain this to you, co-angler. Co-angler, I don't care if you've got a boat, I don't care if you fished. I know I can give you example after example after example of guys who don't fish as a co-angler first. They go out and jump in a boat and they get their rear ends kicked. And I'm not saying I won't get my rear end kicked because I fished as a co, but you learn a lot, and it's just good. It's if you don't learn anything else, learn what it's like to be a co, so you don't treat them like crap when you've got them in your boat. Hey, I'm not against catching some big blues, especially out on the Mississippi. I've watched old, oh my God, I've watched old Bill dance. Yeah, and it teaches you a lot about the format and, how to be respectful and what to expect from your co-anglers. And, it's not just about learning the lakes from other guys or learning baits or all that, because you're going to get a lot of guys in the BFLs. I mean, you're going to get a lot of guys in the opens that don't know their head from their ass. I mean, I'm just going to tell you, as boaters, shouldn't be a boater. I mean, I can tell you right now, I literally had a guy put a pitching stick down on Cherokee that I was fishing with one time because I was hitting spots he couldn't get to, and he just stopped fishing it. And, so you're going to get guys like that, but that doesn't mean you can't learn from those guys. There's a lot of things you can learn, and it's not all just about catching fish when it comes to tournament angling. And I tell people all the time, man, it's also about, building your community too, and learning to, get guys, because if you think these guys went out here and they all learned it themselves and they all know each and every one of these spots on this lake all by themselves, hell, you're mistaken. Trust me, these guys talk. Everybody talks. Yeah, I mean, you will. You'll lose a lot of money. Don't go in. I tell people all the time, if your goal is to be a boater, eventually be a boater, don't go into co-angling looking at it like, I'm going to go in and be competitive. Be as competitive as you can be, in the minute and in the moment you're there. Don't be overly competitive. Don't piss your boater off. Don't be that guy. Don't sit there and huff and puff because you ain't catching fish, because he ain't putting you on fish. It's fishing. You still got to remember it's fishing. Kevin Van Dam don't catch them all the time. I mean, look at that last tournament. Anybody watch Scott Martin's tournament where he was on that lake and laid a big fat goose egg? Listen, guys, it's fishing. So don't expect to get on the boat with, Greg Hackney when you're in a BFL. It don't always happen. And what a lot of those guys do is they go out and they spend their money on these big, nice boats, and then they think they're Kevin Van Dam. I don't know what the hell they're doing. Yeah, don't plan on, unless you're just that kind of stud, and there ain't many of those come around very often in the BFLs, it ain't about money. It ain't about winning money. If you're that guy, you fish one lake all the time, and I've said this 100 times, to me, I'm not saying you're a bad angler. I'm not saying you're not a good stick. But to me, and let's look at it from what you have to do to be a professional. You have to be better you have to be good at finding and catching fish, not just knowing where the spots are the certain times of year when the bass are in those spots on your local lake. It's my opinion. If you want to be considered a real stick, you got to be able to do it everywhere all the time on any lake. You got to be able to find them anywhere. So you'll get a lot of homers. That's what I call them. You'll get a lot of homers that jump into the BFLs. And if you're one of those guys, I'm not going to blame you a minute for jumping into a BFL to try and cash a check, not fishing any other all year long. Do I think it makes you that good? Well, on that lake, I guess. But that's my opinion on that, and we all know what opinions are like, so. What's going on, Kick and Wing? So anyway, you guys got any actual winter fishing questions? Shoot them my way. So, okay. So if you don't know where these places are, I want you to pull up Google Maps and go look at them. All right. So, what lake should I start with? South Holston, Norris, Watauga, or Cherokee? Where should I go first? I'm going to try and fish 3 lakes in 3 days. We're going to see how that goes. It's going to be cold. So vote. They're all kind of alike. I like Cherokee. I used to fish it all the time. Live baits. I don't know, man. I don't do a lot of live bait fishing. Any sort of shiner. I know I hear a lot of guys, whatever day it's cloudy, go to Norris. I know there's a lot of guys on like some lakes that have trout in them. They'll fish those baby trout. Yes, I do think fishing a rig from the bank is possible. I would suggest a higher speed reel. I would suggest a very, very small A-rig. Go look at the A-rigs from Shane's Baits. Those are going to be the like mini finesse. The really small ones. And I would probably only put like bottom weights on, so like the 2 bottom weights. And I'd probably, depending on how shallow you are. Now, when I say bottom weights, depending on how shallow, like I'm talking about 2 1/16 just to get it to kill out right. And I'd probably even put to belly weighted hooks. I'd probably go belly weight only and make sure that they're at least exposed so that you aren't getting snagged. Hold your rod tip high as it comes in to keep it up off the bottom. Reel it a little bit faster, but it's just a big spinner bait. It is so clear. I love clear water though. I mean, I love it. For A-rigs, there's no such thing as too cold for an A-rig. An A-rig is a winter bait. Now, it's going to really do well when they're feeding on shad. Like I said, when they're in that video, the last video, the A-rig, the advanced A-rig, you'll notice 90% of the time when I'm going to throw it, it's going to be for those fish that are really predominantly moving up the creek arms feeding and moving out of the creek arms feeding. So that's going to be, a lot of times it's going to be like fall and spring. Pairing it with a Shimano Stratic. Shaky head, I like shaky head fishing. You know, I love a shaky head, and you know, I've almost replaced my shaky heads with, you know, fishing the Nedster, so the old Ned rig. So Thomas, is that below 40 degrees or below 40 feet? Lake of the Pines, Welsh, and Toledo. Dang, 20 plus pound bags. I'm always for a place I can pick up 20. I do listen, I love Norris. Do you see that? Video? It's probably one of the few videos on Norris that I've done, but that video where I caught those two very large smallmouth, that was a good lake. It was one of my limit series, which is one of my tournament series. That's what I call my tournament fishing series. And, you know, I was practicing, I was a co-angler, but I'm telling you right now, if I could have changed, this was the day before the tournament, and if I could have changed over to a boater, I would have won that. I have no doubts I would have won that tournament going away. I mean, I think what won that tournament ended up being 17 pounds. I have no doubts that in that one spot there was 20 pounds. Yeah, Soho is top secret Lake S. I'm probably going to go there Tuesday, actually. Yeah, Carolina rigs, you know, they're always good when it slows down. Just got to downsize this time of year. Bold statement, Hank. Wow. I could have. I'm telling you, go watch that video, man. Go watch that video. I mean, I found a spot and it was loaded. I caught back to back. I didn't get the second one because I'm an idiot and I was so excited. I forgot to turn my camera back on, but I've got the pictures. I show the pictures right there. I mean, back to back. I could have went to one spot, and if I could have got them to bite, look, I'd have been looking for 5 bites, but I'd have put 20 pounds smallmouth in the lake in my boat that day. I have no doubts about it. I mean, the first two were. I said they were 4 because I didn't have my scale with me that day, but I'm telling you, you look at those two, and you tell me they both ain't right there at 5. Tubs. They were tubs. 40 degrees. You know, and a lot of that's going to really depend on water clarity. I'm going to tell you right now, one of the best baits you can throw, in my opinion, in cold water is, you know, probably especially if you need to cover a little bit of water, slow roll, slow reel. Now I like to use my graphs and find them, so that helps out a lot. But you know, one of the things I'm really going to start with, and I'm going to put it on light line and you know, a light jig head is going to be some sort of rib swim bait, like a Kitech, like a Recon Shad from Bass Munitions. That fat swing and impact style is going to be what I'm doing. Take it easy, traveling fisherman, man, brother. I appreciate you stopping in. It's an honor. Thank you. But other than that, you know, I'm gonna vertical spoon. You know, if you're fishing from the bank, a Ned rig is going to be your friend. You know, that's one thing, man, for you bank anglers, for you guys that are fishing ponds this time of year when it gets cold. You know, the bass are going to stack in one spot. I mean, in a pond, you know, let's say an acre, 2 acres, you know, a lot of times what they're going to do, man, from the bank, they're just going to stack in this one spot. And a lot of people will tell you, oh, it's the deepest spot. And it may not necessarily be the deepest spot, but it's going to be a deep spot. An example I can give you: a few years ago, I went up to this pond. It was me and my brother and one of my other friends. And when we went to that pond, there was a little island out in the middle, and you could actually see the old creek channel where they had dammed it up that kind of went through. And this pond was probably 1.5 acres. And the deepest section was actually over completely on the other side of where we were. But that creek channel had a hard edge, a vertical edge. So if you can find, you know, in any kind of pond, something that's got just a little, I mean, it can be a foot, but it's just a little vertical change, or a log or anything, they will stack up literally in a place that's like, I mean, as big as this table. I mean, you know, this island right here. And I mean, that's literally, you know, where they'll be. And when I say stack up, I mean, it'll be like a can of sardines. And so one of the things we were doing is we were taking, my brother discovered it. He would throw across that little channel, that little edge, right on the tip of the point of that island, and he would drag it. And as soon as he felt that fall off the edge of that creek channel, probably 2 foot, we'd get whacked. And I mean, you had to hit it. It had to be a section of that little channel that was probably 3 foot wide. You know, I mean, you had to hit it. So anytime, Sean. But that's, you know, that's the thing about bank fishing and pond fishing this time of year. You know, they're going to stack up. I think we sat there and we caught something like 20-ish, give or take a few, 23. It was right in there. So they will stack up. They will stack up in a pond like that. So if you catch one out of a spot, man, keep going to, no. This is my new house, so we're not technically moved in yet. We're absolutely not moved in yet. It's in the process of being built. A lot of stuff, a lot of work to do. There's no, like, I'm freezing right now. It is cold as heck inside here because there's no heat. There's nothing, you know. It's just, you know, it's just a good, quiet place. Yeah. Yeah, so, you know. Hey, take it easy, Lance. Hopefully I catch some so there is a video. Mike Buka, I'll tell you what, that bite for me is pretty much over. That topwater bite is that you've seen the tail end of it. We had a real Cedar Creek, yeah. We had a real cold front come through and some snow come through. So I'd say that probably put the topwater bite, it's probably done for now. So that's when I would have thrown that. Just working it around those fish that were really just blasting that. But anytime, Thomas. Man, I love making these videos. And, you know, I tell you, just between us, I don't know. I mean, my question to you guys, would you watch 4 videos a week? More fishing. I'll put it to you this way. If I could fish more, Still sprinkle in like the how-tos, but less of the how-tos, and really make the on the water stuff like really in-depth how-tos, breakdowns of the days, breakdowns of the lakes that I fish. What do you guys think about that? Now, you know that means a big life change if that sort of thing happens, if I was to do that. What I'm saying is I'd need your support if I ever decided to do something nutty like that. But it's been circulating in the mind, you know. It's been circulating in the mind, you know. So if it happens, you know, it's going to be, you know, a lot of fishing. You know, I would be on the water minimum 4 days a week, trying to get 2 videos a day out. You know, what I would try and do is get a fishing video. And I even thought about, because I know you guys are like, you know, show real fishing. And so I've even thought about doing a thing. Well, I'm not professional. No, I'm definitely not that. But that would open up the door to, you know, maybe do some more tournaments, do that sort of stuff, you know, and you know, it's one of those things. I think every angler at some point in time asks himself, how good could they be if they fished for a living? And, you know, I'm not a spring chicken, and I'd like to know how good I could be if I fished 4 and 5 days a week, you know. And I'd put out videos, good or bad. I mean, you'd be seeing the good and the bad. If I zeroed, you'd be seeing the zero. And I'd even do some sort of, like, you guys would probably root against me catching fish, but I'd do like some sort of Bass Geek bad day box, you know. So, you know, if I zeroed, I'd give away, but it'd be like this rolling. So every time I didn't zero, we'd put a new bait in the box. And then when I did zero, we'd go ahead and give that away. And then, you know, that gives you a little incentive to watch those really crappy days. It also would make me be able to make the videos that I want to make, good videos, really in-depth videos, the way I want to make them. If I'm fishing suspended fish, would you rather fish a medium to large swim bait, 3.8 to 4.8 above the fish, or a small swim bait, 2.8, 3.3 inches at their depth? Okay. If I'm fishing during the summer, I'm always going. If the water is warm, I'm going even bigger than that. Even if the shad are small, let's say 2 to 3 inches, I'm going to fish a 5 and 6 inch swim bait. Now, if that doesn't work, I'll back down to a, you know, 3.8, you know, 4.8, somewhere around there. But I'm going to throw the big swim bait first to get the bite, to get the big bite, the biggest fish out of that school. During the wintertime, that's going to be a total change. But now I do some weird stuff in the wintertime, like I go smallmouth chasing. So, you know, even species can matter in that answer. You know, smallmouth chasing, I'm going to throw smaller baits anyway, even though, Doug, speaking about Norris, if you go watch that video, you'll see I'm throwing a 6 inch Shadalicious in Ghost, and those smallmouth are choking it. So, I always say, you know, bass prefer a steak before they prefer a Vienna sausage. I mean, who don't? I mean, maybe some of you do. My dad probably likes the Viennas better than steak, but not me. Still running the same boat. I don't see me upgrading boats anytime soon. You know, the business of YouTube, you know, and I try to talk a whole lot about the business of YouTube. I think it makes some people mad, but, you know, guys, you know, I do a lot of just stuff and talk about everything. if you guys watch this, and so, I mean, I hope the one thing that no one can accuse me of is being a product whore. Excuse my French. Because even if a company, I mean, if I'm going to be talking about a bait, okay, let's say I'm talking about, and how many times have you ever heard me say the Mega Bass 110+1 or the, you go back, well, none of those companies have anything to do with me. Don't even know what Bass Geek's around. But anyway, I'm getting off track here. But, yeah, I try, all I'm saying is, the business of YouTube is that you got to have a little bit of help, but but it can't be that they buy you and own you. That's the big thing. I'm going to talk about what I want to because it's my damn channel. Whether anybody's happy about it, I'm going to make videos that make me happy, and hopefully that makes everybody else happy. Unfortunately, I don't make a lot of videos that make me happy. No, Dale Hollow is not too far to drive, especially once I get my new trailer. For you all that don't know, I'm in the process of putting some new wheels under my boat because, what works best in water that's lower than the 40s when besides jerkbaits, something drop shots, Damiki rigs, bladed baits like the Silver Buddy or any. I love the bigger versions. You can look at Ledge Hog. Hopefully, I'm going to be throwing some of those this week as I go fishing. And the smaller version is like the Damiki Vault, I believe. Yeah, I try to be honest about everything, man. But at the same time, I mean, if I'm going to be talking about a Rapala and they're going to look at me and go, hey, man, every time you talk about those Rapala jerkbaits, would you mind a check? Would you all mind a check if you're going to use it anyway? I mean, I'm going to tell them, look, I'm still going to talk about Mega Bass. It's just the way it's got to be. Is a minnow same as a floating jerkbait? Retrieve different. A minnow, if you're talking about bait, like hard baits, can cover a lot of different things. A minnow bait, I mean, are you talking about like a broke back, like the old Rapalas? A minnow bait, I guess old school, yeah, it could be the same as a jerkbait, but now this time of year, I'm going to tell you, I would highly suggest, unless you're fishing from a bank and you're fishing a shallow pond, I would suggest a suspending jerkbait or minnow bait. And I would even, if you got a floater, I would even get what they call suspend dots or suspend strips. If I was fishing a small pond, they're cheap, and just balance it out. You want a little bit of a nose down. You want to float up like this, and just to slow that float down. Man, big water like Lake Michigan, I don't know. I'm just going to be honest with you. Like you guys the guys that actually go out on boats like that, I'm scared to death. But I would fish it basically the same way, that you'd fish anywhere from shoreline. Take into the conditions of the day. That's going to be the first thing that I'm going to take into. And then what species you're fishing for. If you're up there on Lake Michigan, you're probably going to be fishing for smallmouth. So it's going to be Neds, tubes, drop shots, that sort of thing. Things that you're going to be able to leave in place for a long, long time. Yeah, just ticking weed tops, that is very frustrating. I'm good at Fortnite. Well, got me beat. What's going on, Will, Mr. Perryman? Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Well, you know, there's a lot of different ways to get your crankbaits from bogging down. Number one, this is something that I tell everybody, and if you go back and you watch my, you know, real in-depth crankbait video, Laurel Lake, I'd love to go break that lake down, actually. I was looking at it the other day. You know, the crankbaits, you've got to run them right at the edge of where they're hitting the bottom, okay, or where they're hitting. So crankbait size is a big deal, Sean. And then the other thing is going to be, you know, line size. You know, if you're throwing 10-pound test, you're probably going to get a little extra depth out of any crankbait you throw. You go up to 12, you should be getting on the right length of cast. I'm in Virginia, but I'm right on the Virginia-Tennessee state line. But you should be able to get, you know, about the same, the depth that they suggest with the correct cast. But you can, you know, you can go up to like 14 and you're going to cut a foot, maybe a foot and a half off your depth too. Now, if you're fishing from the bank, one of the things you always want to remember, if you're not paralleling the shoreline, as that bait comes up, begin to raise your rod tip. Raise your rod tip, which will force the bait to want to come up instead of digging in. Yeah, go check that video out, because I'm telling you, man, crankbaits, everybody's like, what's your favorite crankbait? Man, that's like asking me, what's my favorite screwdriver? The one that works. And what I mean by that is that, you know, I can sit here and run through 100 crankbaits with you, and I can talk about the different actions, the different diving depths, and the whole 9 yards. Can you use suspend dots on a crankbait? Yes, but I would not use it on a crankbait to stop it from floating up. Okay, maybe slow the float. Because if you use crankbaits, you'll know that the key to that thing floating up is, so if I throw out there and I want it digging bottom, and I know there's a lay down, and you know, I can feel that after you've fished a crankbait for a long time, you can feel how that line, because here's this log and it's trying to pull down, so it's really pulling tight, and you'll feel that tightness as that bait is trying to dig down and come up over, so it's fighting against it. So what ends up happening is you feel it get tight, you have to stop so that it floats up, and then it goes across, and that's how you don't get hung. So, you know, so yes, yes, that's a great idea to slow the rise, but make sure you compensate for it. What's going on, Papa Jacob? Oh man, gosh, I love wobbleheads. And you mean to tell you my favorite wobblehead? It's a Strike King. It's their football, it's their tungsten football heads. They're not cheap, but what I love about them is that you put any size hook on there that you want. Use on wobbleheads, go heavy. My go-to on a wobblehead, and I will throw it to the shoreline, is a 3/4. You got to remember, a wobblehead is like a crankbait. It's a reaction bait. So you want that bait swinging back and forth as much as you can. Now, again, if you throw a 3/4, you know, I've been fishing, you know, for 100 years. So if I'm seasoned enough to where I know that if I throw that 3/4 in an inch of water, it's going to hit the bottom real hard, and it may stick. So you've really got to, you know, you've really got to make sure, you know, you're paying attention to how heavy. That's why the shallower, the lighter, the deeper, the heavier. But in this case, if I'm bringing it down, you know, I want to be able to move it fast. So, yeah, floating back up so it keeps those crankbaits coming home. Otherwise, you're right. Goodbye. You know, you're not really going to, you know, to put a suspend dot on the lip to get it to dive deeper. That's probably going to more so mess with your balance. because you can blow, I hear all these guys talking about fishing deep crankbaits and, using fast reel speeds. You can blow a crankbait out. As it's diving and that bill is deflecting water, you can overblow a crankbait by going too fast. You never hear people talking about that. That's a big deal too, round bend or EWGs. And I'm going to tell you right now, 90% of the time, I'm going to start with round bends. Now, EWGs, depending on what you're throwing, like if I'm throwing a square bill, an EWG is probably going to be what I'm going to start out with. But if I'm throwing mid to deep divers, those round bends are going to be what I'm going to start with, because you're going to get better hookups on short strikes. And it's also the difference between how an EWG and a round bend. Think about it like this. An EWG or a round bend is sticky. It's going to stick and penetrate. An EWG is tacky. They kind of just latch on. So just remember, if you're missing bites, go with round bend. If you're summertime, round bend, because those EWGs will have a bad habit about tearing the fish's mouth up. What's going on, Green Pig Hunter? What's going on, Channing? Just long line it, yeah. Chatterbill square bills. I don't know that I've seen those. No, I don't use the same crankbaits that I use in summer as I do the winter most of the time. Deep diving, a lot of times you don't have a choice. That in the wintertime, I'm going to really lean toward like those Berkeley dredgers and that sort of stuff. Mid divers. If I'm fishing real deep in the wintertime, I'm going jigs or swim baits most of the time, because the fish are going to really get a good look at that stuff. I've not ever used EWG in front and round bend. That's actually a pretty interesting little comment right there, where the bill moves back and forth. Now I've seen that, but who is it that makes those? Oh man, Arashi? Is it Arashi? I've not seen the square bills, but like I've seen the wake baits. I actually have some of the wake baits. The Jabberjaw, I have not seen those. Oh, the Axis 2.0 by 6 cents. That's the one company that I've neglected. I need to grab up some 6 cent stuff. I have seen those now. I remember that, but I have not used them. Thank you, 919er. I appreciate that. You are the man or woman, whatever your gender may be there. Yeah, I have not used the Axis. But, again, I told you guys, we were talking about what lakes, and I'm going to have to get out of here pretty soon, because let's see if I can get a little more light on my face here. Let's change up spots. I'm getting, it's getting dark. And I'm in my new house, and I have no electricity. I'm freezing right now, so I am going to have to get off here in just a second. But, man, okay. All right, 919er. Yeah, they do have some really good lures. They do. Listen, man, I love an A-rig. I'm telling you, I love an A-rig. If y'all have seen any of my summer videos, y'all know I throw them on schoolers out there in Deepwater on ledges. House party. Maybe once we get done. I'm going to have a big deck put on back here, so it should be pretty nice, a nice little entryway. Hey, if y'all haven't seen my new mailbox, man, you should go to my Instagram, by the way, Bass Geek Fishing. Go back and check out my big bass. I didn't tell my wife about it. She wasn't real happy, to say the least, that I put a giant bass as our mailbox in front of our brand new house. Hey, look, man, she buys stuff and don't tell me about it all the time. Yeah, you know, they are intimidating, but I'm telling you, man, once you use a an A rig and it starts getting hit, yeah. You know, I don't really care much. It just really depends. Like a lot of the uh, homemade balsa wood stuff is a circuit board square bill. Now, I will tell you one thing that you won't see me. Yeah, she was very surprised. One of the things you won't see me throw a whole lot is a square bill, and it's because I fish Highlands reservoirs. And I brought my buddy Joey, who was on here earlier, up here to fish with me, and he always asked me the kind of that same question. You know, why don't you throw square bill? Throw square bill. And then he's seen South Holston, the lake that I fish, and he's like, I get it. He's like, your boat is literally against the rock. You're casting straight out, and it's already like 10 foot deep. So it's, you know, there are spots in square, that square bills. Hey, thank you, Joseph. Thank you very much for the $3, brother. I appreciate the heck out of that. Uh, all right, Joe. Let me go back because I didn't see that. Thoughts of throwing a big swim baits and bull shads on mono? Yes, absolutely. Especially if you're just doing it, I would absolutely start out with, when it comes to A rigs or when it comes to uh, big swim baits, the big swim baits, absolutely start with mono. You can go with a mono leader. My recommendation with a mono leader would probably be, keep it on the longer side, that 10 to 15 foot, because you're going to get that stretch. And trust me, when I was first learning, I've got some of the big bull shads, the $50, $60 ones that are on the bottom of some lakes because I was throwing it on fluorocarbon, and they're gone. They gone. Anytime, John. All right, guys, listen, I am literally freezing. I'm going to show you one thing for the house, and you guys can tell me what you think. I'm going to spin you around here. Give me a second. So I am going to show you a little bit. This is my kitchen. You guys see me film a little bit in this now, but this is the new house. Like I said, it's dark. You can see they still got block and stuff outside. I'm going to show you this. And again, I can't get the lights on. This is the future Bass Geek room right here. So this wall, it is an 8-foot ceiling. All the way to there is going to eventually be pegboard. And all of that is going to be baits. So I'm going to put me a desk right here. And so when we do these live streams, this will be where you'll see me. And I don't yet know on that wall if it's going to be maybe like the shelves out of the old dungeon, or if I'm going to put like some trophies and some stuff you guys sent me and just some awards and like some old jerseys and sports memorabilia. And then if I overflow, I've got this whole wall that I can go ahead and put even more stuff on. So, hey, Cornell, hey, what is going on? Is he in here? I did not see that. What is up, YouTube Fishing Videos? What is going on, brother? But anyway, when the house is done, as you can see, there's still a lot of work to be had. But anyway, this is going to be the little Bass Geek room. So this will be my little man cave. I know you probably can't see me right now, but I'll get back in here to where I can actually get a little bit of sun on my face, or what's left of it. Okay, let me turn you around here. All right, guys, listen, I very, very, very much appreciate it. Sorry there's no video coming out tonight. I will try to get one out tomorrow. It'll be a quick, what's going on, man? It'll probably be a quick, like, my top 5 favorite cold water baits. So, that I'll try to get that edited tomorrow. And then we're going to hit the lake, man. I'm going to try and be on the lake for 3 days. It is going to be cold. So I can't promise you how good the fishing's going to be. Hopefully we don't zero. Hey guys, as always, thank you for hanging out with me today. And you know what I always say? Please go down there, like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe if you guys have not subscribed. Hey, look, I haven't looked at it today, but we are not far, 500 and change from 40,000 subscribers. So please tell your buddies, tell your friends. Let's see if we can hit, before we hit 2021, let's see if we can hit 40,000 subscribers. That would be a dream come true to me. But anyway, guys, gals, I appreciate you. And as always, you guys rock.